Ladies and gentlemen, the Junior and Cadet Fencing World Championships, Cairo, Egypt, continues. And now we continue the Junior Team Men's Foil Competition. On piece 7, table of 2, places 5 and 6. Chile, fencers, Diego Lizana, Leopoldo Alarcon, David Alarcon, and Korea, fencers, Dong Hyun Choi, Jeon Hyun Yoon, Soo Hwan Lee, Johnson Kim. Referees, Tomas Corral, Angel Badawi. On piece 8, table of 2, places 7 and 8. Ukraine, fencers, Levgen Lazarenko, Ole Kokorovets, Bohdan Ichak, Danny Trak. Mexico, fencers, Carlos Daniel Lopez, Diego Cervantes, Tommaso Arcieri. Referees, Jaroslav Moski, Kelly Kohler. And on the podium, the bronze medal match. France, fencers, Constant Roger, Armand Spichiger, Polo De Belval, Valerian Castanie, and Poland, fencers, Adam Podralski, Jakubowski, Maciej Bem, Jakub Dolzycki. Thank you. And the referees for the bronze medal match are Ahmed Mandouhani, Alexei Kustendov. All the luck to all the fencers.
Thank you very much. It's mine? With you. Okay, it's yours. And it's all machine. We can do it. My husband can do it. Good.
Welcome back to the 2021 Junior and Cadet Fencing World Championships, live from Cairo, Egypt. And we are seeing the second bronze medal match with Poland versus France for the men. We just watched the women in the get a bronze medal, where Ukraine won against Romania, and now we're going to see the men in the same situation. One of these teams will earn a bronze medal. After that, we'll watch the 2 gold medal matches, one for men and one for women as well. So we're starting the first round of 9, going to 45 points or to time. And we begin by watching Maciej Bem of Poland against Polo De Belval of France. They'll be going to a maximum of 5 points. Of course, Mr. De Belval, we've been seeing all day. He took 6th place at the individual junior event the other night. Very nice result. Mr. Bem, Poland, Maciej Bem, he was 24th overall in that event, which had a maximum, well, it had a total of 119 competitors. So, nice finish for both boys. Requesting a video review of the call on that. We'll take a look at what the referee is seeing. I'm joined here this evening by Mr. Peter Bouchard. He's president of USA Fencing. Also, he is a foil and épée coach and at a club in San Francisco.
Thanks, Serge. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great deal of experience. Will give us some good insight on the foil action here.
Oh, Poland up 4-0. And big, tall center on the right. So he's able to get in on Maciej Bem. Belval looks really quick. It's difficult for him to reach like that right there. He's very fast on his feet, but he can't quite get there. Off target Ramez, and almost went off the strip, but then he stumbled backwards and it won't count against him. Mr. Bem makes a nice, beautiful parallel post. Reprise of attack by Mr. De Belval. And can't quite get there. Off target. Even running at the guy.
Bit of a size difference between these two.
That's the deal. See, Mr. Bem is really quite tall compared to Mr. Belval, and he's using his height to his advantage. He's running away, so despite the speed, Belval can't quite reach him. He's got his, that time he kind of jumped inside and caused the off target. So you can't tell what he's going to do. Mr. Bem, that time Belval managed to hit his leg or somewhere, so he did mitigate the counterattack, but didn't count for him. That time he finally got there. I think Bem made a miscalculation. 1-4, and Belval needs to try to get a couple more touches before oh, there he did. Okay, 2-4. Look how happy he is. Proud.
Well, if you want to close the distance in your short, you really have to use speed and techniques like a flash attack.
Yeah. He just like runs at him like a track star to me. It's amazing.
You know who I remember seeing do that a lot, almost like this, and he almost looks like him a little bit, is Peter Jopik of Germany. Has that running style. He would just run at people, and you know, he's a great international champion.
That is true. And but no one can beat his hair.
But look at this kid.
He's got the hair too.
He's got the hair. He's like Peter.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Peter.
But France and Germany. The greatest allies.
Great athlete. Nice guy too.
Very nice guy. But yeah, and Peter Jopik is kind of small too, so.
Yep.
Great champion, yep.
I mean, I wonder.
Simultaneous actions according to the referee. And Mr. Bem thinks he was first, so he asked for a video replay. And while we wait for that, we can review the what's going on here. So this is for the bronze medal, and France and Poland, two great fencing nations, traditionally very strong, are fencing off for the bronze.
And the way this works, when there's a video call, we have two referees per bout, and one is the referee that's out in front of the piste, and the other one is a video referee. And so the referee will go and confer with the video referee, and they come up with a decision together. But ultimately, I think it's the referee who is on the bout, on the piste, whose word is the final one. Is that not correct, Peter?
It is correct. So they both review in slow motion the action on a video screen that's hidden from the rest of the audience. They confer, and then...
Unless we show it.
That's true. But anyway, they confer, and it is what they call a strip referee who has ultimate authority to decide. Okay, so we have Spichiger from France and Podralski from Poland.
Podralski's finished 12th the other day in juniors. Strong fencer, Spichiger 20th, so pretty well matched, I think, these two.
Yeah.
Similar size, a little bit, height anyway.
I think Spichiger was probably a little disappointed with his finish, because he's ranked pretty high, I think. And we have the lefty-lefty matchup, so they both hate to fence lefties, probably.
Well, yes. Spichiger is ranked #1.
Yeah. But I don't think, as you say, he finished far down in the pack.
Yeah, he didn't have his best day, or at least what he was expecting. Let's see the video on this.
Right, so there was a preparation and an attack, but it depends on the referee, whether the referee felt that the attack developed before the beginning of the counterattack. And it looks to me like they're going to uphold the attack, but we'll see what they say. They're back there kind of
huddled.
In private, huddled up. Yep.
We can see what they're doing here. We just can't really hear what they're saying. They're seeing, we just can't hear what they're saying.
Oh, it was attack in preparation. There you go. So, video upheld. 6-2.
Of course, in team matches, fencers get one video call per round here. So for each 5-point match, or each segment of these 9 segments, each fencer would have one video call. And if what he says is conferred by is confirmed by the referee with the review, then he gets another one.
That's right. So Spichiger was there, able to push way back and hit him on the flank. He couldn't really get out of the way of that.
Poland out to an early lead by 4 points over France, 7-3.
Mr. Podralski had lost his mask cord, so he has to run down and get off the strip and grab it. Oftentimes you can't tell where it lands, and it just goes flying through the air.
Some of these fencers have been fencing with masks under their mask, the medical masks under their mask. I know the Americans were doing that. In fact, the one who won the gold medal the other night, she was wearing a double mask under her mask.
Goodness.
To me, that seems like
lack of air.
Yeah, situation of oxygen deficit, but she won the world championships.
So it can't be that bad. It's all probably psychological, you know? I mean, it's weird to have something like sticking right in front of you and coming in and out of your mouth, and it's wet, and so it's tough, but actually, I mean, I think as that demonstrates, it's probably just a psychological thing. It probably doesn't actually prevent you from athletic performance. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying I think that demonstrates that it's definitely possible to have
Well,
high
you could
performance.
probably measure it with an oxygen meter, and I think people have done that.
And what's the verdict?
Blood oxygen, I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay. Attack misses, counterattack good with opposition there, so Spichiger had the right of way, but he missed. He was made to miss, by the way, by Podralski. And the same thing just happened to Podralski. He made an attack and his blade was closed out, as we say, or diverted to the side by Spichiger. It's interesting to me that Spichiger has his hand where an Italian usually holds their hand, and that the Polish guy holds his hand like traditionally the way the French did. So it's all one big happy family. I don't know what to say.
Well, and you know, some of these, just because they're fencing for a specific country doesn't mean that's where they train. And it doesn't mean that's where their coach is from either.
Yeah, so a lot of times these countries will trade coaches. I remember the Russians had a French saber coach and 2 Italian coaches for foil and epee at one point. It was pretty funny. I mean, fairly recently, actually.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a lot of European coaches go to places like China and Japan.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, all over there's a lot of American coaches, for instance, that go to South America or even to the Middle East. And you know, there's a lot of fencing is fencing is fencing, you know, and if you can figure out a way to do it, it doesn't really matter the method you use or whatever else. So here Podralski puts poles up by 5 as we change to our next matchup between Constant Roger and Jakubowski.
Jakubowski came in 27th the other night, and Roger was a bronze medalist. So he's looking for his 2nd bronze medal here.
He's a toughie. He's going to really try. And now here he fences like I would say a French person fences with his hand in that way. So it's interesting that, you know, you just don't know.
Strategically right now, given the French are down by 5 and with the relative higher level strength of Roger from his, at least from his results here in the individual, the French team is probably counting on him to try and make up that point delta. So to close the gap.
So can he get 10 before the other one gets 5?
He's going to try and get as many as he can in 3 minutes.
That's it.
And limit the number of the other guy gets. Like that.
There you go.
He's achieving the strategic objective of the team concept. There.
No touch after halt, they say. And then Roger is asking the referee to look to see if Jakubowski is covering target with his back arm. If you can't like prevent the other one from hitting you by putting an invalid surface in front of your target, i.e. your torso, as Serge explained earlier.
That was a nice touch.
Jakubowski, a nice long attack. And 11-7, 4-touch deficit.
Interesting, Roger is not their anchor. He's coming in at the 7th round. So.
Oh, that was a nice attack by Jakubowski again.
Not what the Frenchman wants.
That's true. Our referees, we have Ali Ahmed Mamdouh and Alexei Kuznetsov. Back up to a 4-touch deficit, and Roger is definitely trying to force the action, and there he does a nice parry repose. 9-12. He's getting real close and daring the other one to come so he can parry the blade and score.
There's a parry repost while infighting.
Yeah.
It was very close.
And now we had another one just then. Very close. And there's that long running attack kind of thing.
Let's see. What do you think on that one?
I think it was Roger's, honestly. But that's what I think.
That's what I thought. But
Yep. And Mr. Kuznetsov agrees with me, which is not always the truth. Oh, down to
sounds
one
like there's
touch.
a little bit of history there.
Yeah, there is. Down to a one-touch deficit, you know, so that's pretty amazing. Oh, and he
it's
ties
tied.
it up.
Roger does what his coach wanted him to, closing that gap and making it anybody's game here.
You can see the body language. The French are all kind of leaning forward and, you know, trying to make sure that they're all kind of trying to make an effort from the sidelines, you know.
You know, now I know when you're in the gold medal match, everybody wants the gold medal, but even if you lose, you go home with a silver. That's not the case here in team competition. If you lose, you don't get a medal.
And Roger has put the French up by one touch with a nice counterattack and closeout. But Jakubowski is not satisfied. He makes a disengaged attack in preparation. 13 all. Oh, I thought Jakubowski paused for a moment. I bet they give it to Roger. Yeah. I think they'll give it to Roger. Oh, I'm wrong.
I think Kuznetsov does the fastest video reviews of any referee I've ever seen.
Oh, no, I was right. Yeah, he agreed with me. Okay. And 15-13, so Jakubowski not satisfied to go behind. He gets three touches in a row.
Roger's not happy. He wanted to finish it out tied up where he was at one point in that round.
Yeah, but you know, you got to see
He still did a good job.
You got to see the you got to see the determination of the Polish team. They're not going to sit there and like let them catch up and everything.
Mr. Kuznetsov giving us a little side commentary there about the last round.
Well, you got to give Roger a lot of credit there. He put 8 touches on the board to 5. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, well, he got them ahead.
For a moment.
Well, he got them ahead of where they were.
Oh, yeah. And Belval makes nice counterattack and stepping inside makes the point go past him.
De Belval, of course, also was in 6th place in the juniors, so strong.
Yeah, he's no slouch, that's for sure. The French have a great team. But the Poles, you know, they've been ahead the whole time, or not the whole time, but almost the whole time. So, as I said, 2 great fencing nations going at it.
Poland is very surprising sometimes. You don't necessarily think of them as being a powerhouse, but they've produced some amazing athletes.
The truth. They had a great coach named Tchaikovsky who's kind of
I met him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so anyway, he kind of put together the modern game and the theory behind fencing and stuff. So he's generally considered kind of the grandfather of fencing theory in the modern era. Well, I shouldn't say the modern era. I don't know what that would be, but in the last few years.
Is he still alive?
No,
he passed away. That's right. I thought so. Yeah, when did he? It was just a few years ago, wasn't he? Yeah, because I met him in Poland at a Grand Prix maybe a little more than 10 years ago.
Off target attack to the leg. Remember how tiny Belval really is. And he just made an attack by outreaching the guy. That's pretty darn good.
And it's tied up again.
Yeah.
15-15.
This is exciting.
Going to 20. So basically we have a 0-0 pool match here between these two.
The truth.
With a minute and 54
exactly,
seconds.
with only 2 minutes to go. Yeah. A parry repost.
He's a fighter, this De Belval. I can tell. He's scrappy.
He's scrappy. That's what he is. And, you got to give him credit. He has a lot of success with that. He hides the blade up there so that the taller guy can't grab it. And there he goes with his running thing off target. The counterattack on the arm. That looked like an épée touch, Serge. Oh, he pushed him off. The little guy pushed the taller man off the end of the strip and got himself a touch and puts France ahead, 16-15.
Well done.
And he made Podralski fall short, and at that point he gets to take over, and he runs back at him and scores a touch, and he's got a two-touch lead. Who could have thought?
Well, he's tough. He's a very good competitor. He's well balanced. He's technical. He's fast, and he doesn't have as much target area to hit as some other fencers.
That's the truth. That is true. And yeah, it's a little bit. LeMay is a little bit above his hip bone there, maybe in the back. So even smaller than it would be.
Is that something that, as a referee, you would question?
I'm not going to second guess my gracious colleague, but I would say that it's definitely something that might be measured. You know, when you submit your clothing to inspection, it's not on your body, so they can't tell if it's actually covering all of the legal target area, which goes to the top of the hip bones.
But it is legitimate for a referee then, if they see something like that, to question it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And they could, if they wanted to, they could get out a ruler and measure.
Indeed, and and then should they determine that it's illegal, it would be a yellow card. He'd have to get a new LeMay real quick with his name on the back, which could mean another a touch against. So it's a situation. Oh, that's illegal too. He's not supposed to pull on his body cord while fencing. There he goes again. And Mr. Kuznetsov.
I think he was out of sight of Mr. Kuznetsov when he saw that.
Yeah,
we could see it, but he couldn't.
Yeah, that's probably right. He couldn't reach that time. Mr. Podralski got away. I gotta tell, he's quick, that little guy. De Belval.
I used to fence a French epéist who was sort of a master at swiping away the blade with his non-weapon hand when it was out of sight of the referee. It was very annoying.
I can't believe that any fencer would do a thing like that. By the way, that's illegal too, and it's an immediate red card on that one. Herring with your backhand.
But he had it down to a science.
Red card, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, means it results in a point for the other fencer.
Yeah, the first infraction is, well, is a yellow card or a red card, depending on what it is. But if you get 2 yellow cards, that's a red card.
That's right. But
and the second red card is just another point against you.
Exactly.
They don't add up to a black card. The black card is another situation.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, I was saying that pairing with the back arm is actually a red card right away.
Mm-hmm. It's an immediate. It's not. You don't just get a yellow card for it.
It started too early. Let's calm down, boys.
And of course, we had the other day we had the United Nations International Day of Peace in Sport, symbolized by a white card. And we have all the athletes hold up white cards. There's a story about it on the FIA website.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And all the athletes in all the different sports hold up the white card as a symbol of peace in sport.
It's nice. It should be that way. And Mr. De Belval tracks him down again and puts his nation up by 2.
He's holding that lead that he created.
Yeah, you've got to give him a lot of credit. He jumps inside.
There.
And corps is French for body to body, and that causes a halt. Looks like it was nobody's fault and didn't cause any damage, so there won't be any sanctions, any penalties.
No, it wasn't like an intentional chest bump.
Nope. And
well done by Mr. De Belval.
Indeed, indeed. And as we move up to the 5th matchup, we're going to 25, and as you can see, and you pointed out in the women's event that that in foil, it often doesn't come up to the increment of 5. And I said, I thought women's foil, but here we see a men's foil, very exciting, lots of action, and it still didn't come up to the increment of 5. So I stand corrected. Okay, we have our friend Monsieur Roger against Mr. Bem, and it's a lefty-righty matchup, and they're both about the same size, so we'll see how it goes. And the reprise of attack by Mr. Bem hits. He kind of froze there. I don't know what happened, but anyway, he gets him back within one touch. Explosive attack is just short. And parried by Mr. Bem. Push, push, push. He makes attack in preparation. Mr. Bem is ready. Makes a parry repost. And kind of wraps it around and hits him in the belly as he tries to get out of the way. Tie score. You got to give the Poles credit here. A very good matchup. And the riposte misses and the remise hits. And Mr. Bem puts Poland ahead by one touch. And the second shot, the remise by Monsieur Roger ties the score. Monsieur Roger makes attack and hits. And Mr. Bem is not satisfied. He wants to have a video review, but as it stands by the original call, that would put France back up ahead. Let's see what happens. And Mr. Bem is not satisfied with his weapon, so he's going to change it out with the permission of the ref. The ref in this case is Mamdouh Ali. I didn't see what the adjudication was here. Was it upheld? I don't. Oh, they're still talking about it. And this is the longest cut. Oh, he's taken off his visor. So he's about ready to make the announcement. Usually they make the fencers. Oh, he's gonna reverse the call and make it a simultaneous action. No touch awarded. So no priority was created. And the score remains tied at 19.
Going to 25 here. Potentially.
Nice parry with his toe on the end. That's pretty good. They love to hinder the advance with the point in line. Try to make them stop for a second. The riposte goes low, like Mr. Roger tried to duck down, and he caused the off target by doing that.
Yeah, saw that. Running.
And he finishes off target. He should be. He's back in the 2-meter zone, so it's a reverse of roles. Monsieur Roger had him all the way down in the end, and now Bem has, or had, Monsieur Roger down there. Whoop, now we're trading sides again.
This is a well-balanced match. Nice,
Fun.
Fun, clean.
It's going to come
fencing.
It looks, from the looks of it, it's going to come down to the final matchup. And it's going to be awesome. Because the attack is off target.
It's always fun when you get down to like 44-44.
It's like the silly plug came out unplugged, and that's why it didn't score. Ooh. Monsieur Roger misses his attack, and the counterattack by the lefty. He probably closed him out. Puts Poland ahead by one touch.
To trade his
and now Roger, of course, has to change his weapon. I'm not satisfied. I missed.
And we'll get out another blade. Coming to you live from Cairo, Egypt. Junior and Cadet Fencing World Championships. Thanks for tuning in on the FIA Fencing channel. Given that we have pandemic protocol in place you are our spectators out there, and so thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching.
Coming to you live from Cairo, Egypt.
We're on the same time zone here as Western Europe, same as Paris or Amsterdam. 9 hours ahead of the west coast of the U.S., 6 hours ahead of the east coast, 1 hour ahead of London.
Oh, reprise of attack with a couple of feints and scores. Now Poland's up by 2 touches. That's pretty darn good. Attack and preparation by Roger. Cuts the deficit to 1.
Recoups one of the points.
You know, I'm telling you, this is going to go down to the final matchup. And it
Well,
looks,
and the final is going to be Spichiger against Bem.
Bem, yeah. And
So-
Mr. Bem is right here. You
Right.
can see him.
That'll be a good lineup.
Yep.
But neither one of them is necessarily their top fencer on either team. So
Well, you know, you don't know ahead of time what the lineup from the other team is. So there's a lot of kind of gamesmanship going on there, and you try to make sure they don't know, so that when they put out a lineup, you try to have an imbalanced, you know, an imbalanced matchup thing. So it's all strategy, and so your anchor is not necessarily the
it's
same
not
anchor
necessarily
you
going to
had.
be the world champion from 2 days before.
Right.
And you might think that, but on the other hand, that guy might be totally exhausted.
That probably is, right? I would be. Okay, fair post by Roger. And
Good attack off
transfer
target.
by 1. Yep, nice.
He came close to pushing him off.
Oh, attacking preparation. Wow. That time
Bouncing back to that 2-point lead for
yeah,
Poland.
That's right. Roger, like his body was ahead of his hand, and he ran into the point.
But that will help.
The one
Nice
light, it
single
always
touch.
helps. It's true. And this single touch deficit. I thought. Did he get the point there?
He did.
Okay.
He sort of lucked out on that, I think, a little bit.
It's also that lefty-righty thing. Like, it's always annoying because sometimes you can, just by sticking out your arm, you can parry, like, or put something in the way of the point.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
I am too. And I know sometimes you can misjudge distance with a left-handed person.
Yep. And they have the advantage of always fencing righties, or virtually always fencing righties, so they're used to that situation.
Like we were saying earlier, they just don't like it when lefties have to fence.
Yep. Oh, and that time Roger closed them out. So, yep, and they're back down to one touch deficit. Let's see what Constant Roger can do. Nope, he couldn't. Parry repost.
That was
25,
quick. That was
23.
very quick. That takes it to 25 and on to the 6th round. Jakubowski against Spichiger. Spichiger, of course, is going to be the anchor on the French team for the last round.
And unless they substitute,
Jakubowski will be the penultimate fencer on that side.
okay, so it looks to me like he'd be the anchor.
Who? Spichiger is.
Jakubowski. Yeah, Jakubowski.
No, well, it's listed.
I might be wrong.
It's listed as Bem.
Oh, Bem, right, that's true. Yep, you're correct. Bem is correct. You're correct. Thank you. So often today there's been like 10 touch, 12 touch deficits. And you know, it isn't that exciting, but this thing's just amazing. It's like so close.
Right.
Yeah, 24-25.
Nice speed attack there.
Yeah. And he caught him off balance, so he even crossed his feet trying to get away, but he couldn't do it. The referee ruled that Spichiger had stopped, and so the attack was initiated by Mr. Jakubowski. And there's the repose. And Mr. Jakubowski is now going to receive a card for causing Cora to reward the touch. And he acknowledges he knows he did it.
So when you have, as a referee, because you're an experienced referee, so when you have two fencers in close, it's like I know in épée, a lot of times referees will let infighting go kind of longer than you think they might. But how do you gauge that?
Well, the rule, I believe the text of the rule is if you cannot wield your weapon effectively. So it's a completely subjective decision by the referee. So they often call a halt, or they almost always call a halt before an épée referee would, because they determine that they're too close to effectively wield. But you've seen the acrobatic stuff behind the head or even between the legs,
well, but in
mitigate that.
In épée, when you're in close, you can still like hit somebody on the toe, right? Whereas when you're in close in foil, you're trying to hit a much smaller target that you have to contort more to get.
That's true. So while we're talking here, Mr. Podralski has put the Poles ahead by a lot.
He did. He widened that lead. That short moment of illumination for the French has dissipated in that one bout.
Yeah, so you got to give him a lot of credit here. And he's the first of the final rotation of 3. So Mr. Jakubowski.
So now it's going to be the 7th round now with Podralski and Roger.
Yeah. So this is the first bout of the last rotation. Yeah. So this is where all the marbles, right? So.
Well, and this might turn out to be fortuitous for the French because Roger is their highest ranking junior in terms of the results from the other night. He was a bronze medalist. If anybody's going to make up this 6-point deficit, there you go. It might be him.
It might be he. Yeah. And so look at that.
That's where you need that.
And is that why they put him in that spot? Do they think that he can maybe get an insurmountable lead for the other two to defend? Because we've seen De Belval, and that guy is a scrapper. You know that he's going to come after people like crazy. Wow, look at that. He puts it in like just in front of him from a big angulation. That's something you don't see every day. Down to 4.
The French are, you said that the Russians are technicians.
Yeah.
The French are tacticians.
I agree with that. They're often they're kind of famous for being sort of defensive. They let you throw all of you can, and then they make a defensive or a counterattack kind of thing. But I'm not sure that's true right now. I think they're really attacking really well, except for right then. See, there's their attack. And Mr.
I have to do a video call on that, maybe, you think?
Well, I'm not them. Oh, here it comes. Oh, no, he wants to change his foil because he bent it so much, yeah. Oh.
He knocked over the light. Thank you. Frenchman getting some side coaching from the box.
But he's not letting on. So he's just kind of walking down there casually and looking the other way, and because that's actually illegal.
Really
no, you're not supposed to. No.
But would that be a card for the fencer or the coach? For the team.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically it would be for the coach, but they almost never call it. Unless it's just obnoxious,
Right.
Off target. There's that attack again we're talking about. Oh, it looks like he hurt his hand. Oh, no, he got hit in the jaw.
An obnoxious fencing coach?
Could that be? Yeah. He got hit in the jaw there, but he's tough.
That hurts. Mr. Kuznetsov advising the French coach not to give his fencer advice. He's almost standing between them and saying, "Hey, come on."
Here comes the medical person from the medical commission.
He's got the magic spray in his hand. I don't know if he's going to use it on the kid's
face.
jaw.
Yeah, that's a question. He's saying no thanks. I don't want that on my face.
No, thank you. It's not.
Oh, he's going to check and see if it's busted, maybe. So that was an accident, but a guard to the face can often result in an automatic red card. No matter if it's an accident or not, but
in FA, every now and then obviously you can hit the mask and it's legal
with the point, but you can't hit it with your hand.
No, I understand that, but it was very funny because sometimes I would be fencing and I would hit someone in the face and they get mad at me. I'm like, well, it's a legal touch, but it was sort of like this dishonorable thing to do.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, hey, it was a target. I saw it. I hit it. Sorry.
Yeah, on the other hand, people count on that and exploit it, and they stick their head out in front. And like, what, are you supposed to not hit it? It's closest to you. Of course, you should hit it. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's funny. It's there. Every now and then you hit these sort of tacit rules that,
They're not written. They're just like, custom or whatever.
Right. Well, we've got well over 100 years of tradition to
That's right.
to fall back on.
And that's one of the wonderful things about our sport. It really is. Look at that beautiful beat attack. Roger is a beautiful lunge too. We've seen the beautiful lunge from the Polish side too. Both of these teams are just so talented. Oh, and that looked like Corridor avoided riposte again, but no call by Mr. Kuznetsov. Parry repost.
He's good at those close-in parry reposts, even though he's such a tall, lanky fencer.
So
it's amazing.
This fencer looks determined to break the beautiful display by the.
Knocking over the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here comes our
trusty technician. 30-31, France-Poland. 7th round, going to 9 rounds. And it's a tight match, folks.
Love it.
There's no way to predict who's going to win the bronze medal here.
He brought up a faulty weapon. Now comes a red card, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, because when he hooked up, it didn't go off, so he got a yellow card.
A yellow card, yeah. I thought he had a yellow card before, but I guess not. I was wrong. So yellow card now. It should be marked on the machine in a second.
There
by
it goes.
The remote control. Yeah, there you go. And so should something like this happen again, he'll get. He won't get it. Monsieur Roger will get the point. And he tried to chase him down and hit him.
It looked to me like he went off the strip. But
it's like when the hit happens. If he went off the strip after the hit happens, it doesn't count.
Tied up.
Tie score. Monsieur Roger has tied the score.
We have a definite fight on our hands here, folks, tonight.
Attacking preparation off target. And Podralski misses. He made a long lunge, but he had no occasion to. The guy was too close. And we see Roger has put the French ahead. And he misses repost, and the remise hits, and then somehow he got injured. I did not see how that happened.
He got injured at the, he got the point at the cost of his own physical well-being.
Oh, here comes the doctor again, or the doctors. There's 2 of them.
Well, the way that works in international fencing is you have a doctor who's a member of the FIA Medical Commission, and then you have a local paramedic or doctor.
I see.
Because the doctors are usually from other countries and they don't have the license to practice here. They can only advise, right?
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Something I was unaware of. And here comes, I think the
So
magic
they're
spray in
specialists in
his hand.
fencing injuries, and the fencers, they know the fencers, but then you have the local doctor or local paramedic who's, you know, qualified to treat.
Oh, we got ice coming out. Looks like a delay about to me. So right now it's a
They might give
delay.
it 5 minutes.
Right, the delay is 5 minutes. So I think
If it's true, they will start the clock.
looks like it's true if it gave ice. So
Well, the clock is still at,
I see. On the other hand, somebody might be looking at their watch. Oh,
there it goes. There's the 5 minute. They can do a 5 or a 10-minute break depending on the severity of the injury. Correct?
I think it's 5 minutes now. I think they changed that.
Did they get rid of the 10-minute or?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I see.
Okay, the magic spray is not going to work, it looks like. So, does he have an ice bag? I can't tell. I don't think so. Looks like he's just going to continue. Yep. All right, well, good for him. Look, he didn't even take the whole 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Podralski. And attack short, attack good. So the Podralski's attack stopped, and Roger started his attack. Podralski, that long lunge, it hits off target. Lefty righty, that arm's in the way. Oh, he went behind his back to try to hit, but wasn't able to. And now he got tangled up with the wires. It's funny.
Single touch by Roger. 2-point lead for the French again. Wow.
And we're going to 35, so. But I think you pointed out that he's the good one, so. There's the parry repost by Podralski. All right, so the worst it could be for them is 2 touches. And if Podralski is able to score another one. Nope, he wasn't. So.
And that's it, 35 points for France. The end of the 7th round. France leads by 2.
Right, and that's the start of the last rotation. So here comes De Belval, the scrappy little guy, against Mr. Jakubowski.
This is another one of those contrast of sizes.
And it's a righty-righty situation.
All right. So let me ask you this,
Sure.
Peter. So what is the French coach, what is he telling De Belval right now, being ahead 35-33 in the 8th round here? What's he telling him?
I think he said go after it. I think he's going to use his speed.
He's not just telling him to hold the line.
Oh, I see. No, I don't think he'll do that, because I think they're going to be scared of Bem. Spichiger has not done that.
Try to get as many points as you can without getting hit.
Yep. I think they're going to want to make oops, that did not work. I think they're going to want to make Spichiger's life as easy as they can against Bem at the end. Oh. Guess what? Tie score. Gotta say, this is exciting.
We got a fight on our hands here. 35 all.
Mr. Kuznetsov is telling them what's what. Parry repost. Even though they got really close together, Mr. Jakubowski was able to take the parry and go way back behind him and make kind of a roundhouse repost and score, putting Poland up by 1. Tag off target. Parry repost, no, counter tag off target. Push, push, push by Jakubowski, push, and he scores. De Belval was not able to wiggle out of that one. And the Poles are up by 2. And he ducks, and Mr. Kuznetsov gives a yellow card for displacing target, if you will, or putting his head in the way of the repost. He went right past him with a parry, and this is the one instance where you can hit someone behind you if you're making a repost after a parry. Was unable to do it, but counter parry repost by De Belval, and it's 36-37. Remember, this is the penultimate matchup, waiting for that final anchor slot.
He's using his head again, I think. Not in a good way.
Very nice. Uh-oh, he tripped. He got lucky he didn't hurt himself. And he got lucky that the person hit him off target. Oh, parry was off target. Yep. That was awesome. So fast. Wants to straighten his blade, maybe give himself a little bit of a break. Because not tough, carefully controlling things, not letting the guy go over to the booth where the French fencers are, and maybe get undue advice. But then, what does he do? He scores a one-lighter with an attack in preparation, and it's 37 all. Now they both want to jump the gun. And nice. Mr. De Belval flips it in there at a close range.
We've had more cards and more changes of weapon in this encounter of these guys with these two teams than anything we've seen all day, I think.
That's the truth. But it's all gamesmanship, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like the blade doesn't work. It's not like it's not perfect and high quality. It's just, let's take a break. Let's take a break. Let me think about this for a second. And para riposte. And
knocks his blade out of his hand.
And there he is, a little tiny guy, like showing.
Well, we saw him earlier push the bigger kid off
right
the
off
end of the strip.
Yep. So he's scrappy, that's
tough.
for sure, as you said. Scrappy and tough. De Belval.
This is street fighting, a street fighting version of fencing here. Street fencing. Oh, he was in there. He got that on the remise.
So we had that preem parry that looked like it's the signature touch of Jakubowski, and De Belval just like took the four and kept like hitting, and finally got the one-lighter.
Yeah, and he started off a little slow, but boy, he picked it up and really, And that's what I'm talking about, that psychological thing. You know, at this point where you're both in the high 30s, the team that hits 40, there's this little psychological advantage to that. You know, you sort of take a little control over the bout that way. Mr. Kuznetsov is trying to calm down the French coach, tell him to stay a little quiet. And
he tells him not to say do any coaching, no fair yelling advice or anything like that. And he's controlling the bout, which is a good thing.
So Mr. Spichiger against Mr. Bem from Poland. We'll see how this matchup goes. It's 40 for France, 37 for Poland, and it's a fight. Point.
The referee rules Perry repost, and it's a 2-touch deficit.
He wanted a video replay, but his coach said don't do that. Don't waste it.
And
41 for France.
Spichiger scores, puts it back up by 3. It's a tough thing to do for Mr. Bem to make this happen.
You don't know about you, Peter, but sometimes, oh, what a clean, he was wide open. Clean touch for the French, 42-38, 4-point lead.
It's the biggest lead they've had, I think.
Yes. You know, sometimes the toughest, most spectacular matches are the bronze matches.
Yes, because they don't want to go home empty-handed. Fighting, and it was great. This is really fun.
Another single light, 43-38. France getting close to the reward.
So what you pointed out about the anchor,
yeah,
I do think Mr. Bem is not their strongest fencer.
44-38. I think.
Did they put it up?
Not yet.
There it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. One touch.
One more touch, and he's got it. I think the French played this one really smart.
Repose off target. Yeah.
I think they had a strategy, and they, you know,
their lineup, you know, just even the lineup that they choose is, you know, really tactical. Up off the strip. Nope, he just hit him anyway. Did not call it. So
I saw him go off too.
Yeah, but he's not going to call. He's going to give him the. Going to give him the off target. Now
he's saying, another weapon change.
He's saying my weapon's loose. I need to change weapons, and I need to come down and talk to my coach. And we have our marshal. What did you call him? COVID marshal over there.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, I think so. Making them stay apart. And is that 1 meter distance? Probably.
That's just what a fencer needs, is 2 people telling him to keep their distance.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, attack all the way. And 40, only a 4-touch deficit. You got 2 minutes and can't be scored upon. No margin for error whatsoever. Can he do it? No, he cannot. Spichiger brings home the bronze for France.
That's the bronze medal. That's the bronze medal for the men's junior foil in the team event. And France takes it. And that now puts us to the next event, which is the gold medal match between...
For women, right?
For women.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll have that starting in a few minutes. It's going to be USA versus Russia.
Yeah.
For the gold medal in women's junior team foil. So let's see what happens.
For both of these matchups are going to be USA Russia. Am I right? With both men and women.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
We've got USA and Russia in 2 matches, and so We're here live from the 2021 Junior and Cadet Fencing World Championships in Cairo, Egypt. Thank you for being with us on the FIE Fencing channel on YouTube. You are our audience, you are our spectators. So let's see what happens in these two matches and who's going to go home with the gold. Stay with us. We will be starting very soon.
And thank you very much for being here, ladies and gentlemen.